Hi and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're in the Ferrari, outroad America. Let's get straight in with the hot lap. So I leave it in fifth here, looking for the 3-cone, brake up to about 75% down to third gear, making sure that you're kissing that inside curb and the outside. Back on the gas, leave it in fourth, 2 this time. Again, dropping it down to third, smoothly back on the gas. Don't hit that grass on exit. I am trialing this without an intro because so many of you just skip forward anyway, and I think the YouTube algorithms don't like it. If you do miss my intro, I am sorry. Right, end of the gravel. We go right to the outside of the curb, into second gear. Back on the gas. Up to third, little dab on the brakes, down to second, smoothly back on the gas. Now you can do this next turn flat in the Ferrari, but it's hairy, so I just do a little confidence lift there. And again, the 2 marker, braking this time up to about 90% down to second gear, smoothly back on the gas again. I did find the Ferrari easier to drive around here than the Nissan Acura, but the Acura was slightly faster. So if you are someone that takes advice from a numpty like me, that's my advice. Alright, we go up to top gear as we come here into Canada corner. We're looking for the 3 marker. We go through that, again brake up to about 85%, all the way down to second gear in this car. Up to third, and again I do a little confidence lift here, tiny little lift, up to fourth, back over to the left hand side, looking for the 2 marker. And this time we brake up to about 60%, smoothly trail off and smoothly back on the gas. You're charging towards the line, and we do a 2:03.761. Little twerk at the end for those people that like cars dancing. Right, let's do the breakdown lap. Okay, breakdown, let's charge through it. I've got a lovely hot bubble bath awaiting my arrival. Right, just before the 3-cone, our first braking marker. And we're going to brake here up to about 75%, trail it off down to the apex into third gear. Make sure you're kissing that rumble strip on the inside, getting back on the gas as soon as you straighten up the wheel. Exit nice and wide. You don't want to hit the grass though, that is next. Up to fourth, looking for the 2 marker this time on the left hand side. As we get to the 2 marker, we're going to brake this time again up to about 75%, trail it off, down to third, again kissing this inside curb, getting on the gas 100% when we're actually at the apex. I really like this lorry real cheese advert that we just went through there. I don't think America has real cheese though. Anyway. Right, next braking marker is going to be just before the 2 on the right-hand side. So we're going to brake and we're going to point more or less towards this toilet, this little porta potty out here. That's what we're aiming for. Getting all the braking done before we trail off, and we've gone completely outside of the tracks. That's perfectly legal. We're just opening up the corner, extending the radius so that we can go that little bit faster. Getting on the gas, back up to 100% as we straighten out. As I say, up to third gear on the red lights, and then just before we get to the Corvette bridge here, little dab on the brakes, drop it down from third into second, and again we start building back up on the power. It's quite a slippy exit. Back over to the left hand side. Now as I say, I did do this first couple of times in fourth, or changing up to fourth and completely flat, but for the sort of half-tenth it gave me, the several times that I actually exited on the grass and had an X, I just decided it was always worthwhile for me to do a confidence lift here. Just a little one. Exit nice and wide. Again, the 2 marker on the right hand side. So as we get there, we're braking this time up to about 95%. It's the hardest I brake in the entire course. Down to second, building back up on the gas at the apex. And again, just waiting for the rear to settle down before I get up to 100%. Up to third, Right, so I'm about to start doing a lift, and I do a very, very gentle tap on the brakes, not actually to slow the car down. That 2% that you saw there, that was more, and again, I'm on the brakes, but it's not even registering at 1% there. So that was just all about making sure that weight's over the front tyres. And then once the corner starts opening up, I'm back on 100%. I've got 90 degrees of right-hand lock on. And I'm just praying that it grips up, kiss that inside curb, exit where you want to. We're absolutely flat through here, turn in at the 1, kiss the inside curb, kiss the outside curb, or not. Back over to the left-hand side as we come up to Canada corner. And we're looking for that 3 marker on the left-hand side. So as we get there, this time we brake up to about 85%, wipe that speed off, drop it down to 4th, drop it down to 3rd, drop it down to 2nd, and then we start building back up on the apex. Exit nice and wide, back over to the right-hand side. As I say, rather than taking this flat, I take it in 3rd, I do a little lift, and then I get back up to 100% here once I've just given that inside curbing a little kiss. Up to 4th gear, back over to the left-hand side, looking for the 2 marker. And this time we brake up to about 65%. And again, trying to take a nice wide entry, drop it down to 3rd, start building back up on the gas, trying to get up to 100% as soon as possible. It's just after the apex for me. There we have it, that's the breakdown. We have one more version coming out, which is next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.